Now will we see the magic?
All right, where's Murray? Okay, who is it?
This is Jesus, kid.
Know then that it is the year 10,191.
Yes, we are bored. We're all bored now.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Hello and welcome to Mary vs. the Movies with your host Mary Jones.
And Dennis Lang.
And I don't know why you're that chipper. We're watching horror movies.
Yeah.
Do you like horror movies?
I don't like all horror movies, but this one I'm very excited about.
Well, that's good. That's good. I don't really know this movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's like kind of, I don't know, is it a cult movie a bit?
Yes.
In the United States it is, right? Mm-hmm. We're watching a Japanese horror film. Is it a horror movie though?
I think it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of lumped in with Suspiria.
Okay. Oh, well,
it's
that's cool.
Very stylish.
That sounds good. The film we're watching is called House. I know the poster for it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that crazy orange cat. It's a cat, I assume. I don't know. Is it a cat? It's a face.
Whatever.
I assume it's. I think it's a cat. Anyway, it's Japanese. I think it's like a horror, but it's a comedy maybe also.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure. And I honestly, that's it. That's all I know. It's from 1977.
Yeah.
And
So there's a slew of like horror movies from other countries that I've seen just shots from. Horror movies, also like superhero movies, all kinds of stuff.
Well,
like usually low budget, but like just fun and weird looking or whatever.
right.
This one seems like the funnest and weirdest.
Okay. Where did you see stuff for this?
I almost entirely Twitter.
Okay.
And this is why I miss about Twitter. I used to follow a lot of movie people on Twitter, and I would just get a stream of just clips. So I saw like Fright Night. I've seen clips from Fright Night before, and I was like, oh, I should watch that. That looks fun. And had forgotten that it was Fright Night. And then when we watched it, I was like, oh yeah, that's the movie I wanted to see, and now I've seen it. And so go me. But this one, so like, you know, first off, there's the poster. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And the poster always reminded me of this one album cover by Stereolab.
Okay.
Ping, although Switched On had it sort of as well. It's actually frames from a German animation or something of a guy with a finger gun shooting at you. It goes ping.
Okay.
They were just in Philadelphia, and I did not see them. So
What does this have to do with the Japanese movie?
the design of the poster reminds me of the design of the album
Okay.
cover. So I don't know. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
I'm sorry we didn't see Stereolab, honey.
It's expensive.
It's very expensive.
It's really expensive.
We have gone
it was
to
like $200 at one point.
Holy
and-
cow.
Yeah.
We've
It got
gone to
down to like 58. But I was like,
Oh, 58's not bad. 58's not bad. Wash my mouth out.
It was like a day where it went down to 58 and it went back up to
Oh.
75 and yeah.
We can't afford to do anything anymore. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Except see the best show live.
That's true. Yes, we will be at that.
We've already seen it by the time this comes out.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
No.
if you're just listening to this as it comes out and you're in the Philadelphia area, come and look at it with us. We'll be there.
With us?
Why not?
I don't know.
Look for us.
Do I want to meet people?
Of course you
Meeting
do.
people is scary.
It's fun.
Anyway,
Can
we talk?
Okay.
Can we talk about the movie?
Sure.
All right. I don't know anything about this movie. So,
Should I say anything like from what I know?
I think there's a girl.
Okay.
So, a young woman.
Mm-hmm. You haven't seen any clips from this?
Dennis, no, obviously.
Okay, I've seen some really crazy clips from this,
Cool.
and like.
Do you know I don't remember stuff, right? Even if I see a clip of something, I'm gonna forget. Like it's in one ear out the other. Does not exist once my eyes are off of it. I live in a permanent now.
Okay.
Okay, like there is no past, there is no future.
You remember what we've watched before?
I
right?
don't remember anything. Who are you? Why are you in my house?
It's my house, and
No.
you're trespassing.
All right, get the swords.
You remember there's swords. There you go.
I can see one right over there.
Oh, yeah, there is one.
Yeah,
We have a sword.
we have multiple swords.
We have lots of swords. And we
Are
have
there
an
swords
axe.
in this movie? We do have an axe. Is there swords in this movie?
You are supposed to guess if there are swords in this movie.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, is there a dog?
No, I think it's a cat.
You think there's a cat?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think there's an angry father?
No.
Oh, really? No authority figures at all.
No dads.
Not even like Satan.
Well, there might be Satan. Well, I don't know. Does
The father of evil.
Japan have a Satan? I don't think so.
I think they'd
They
be
have
into
their-
him just because of his design.
Well, yeah, he's pretty cool. Let's be honest. Satan is pretty cool, but
There's the quote for our podcast.
yeah.
We tried to sell it to the Midwest. Satan is pretty cool, says Mary Jones of Mary versus
Look,
the
if
Movies.
Japan loves Satan, why don't you?
Yeah.
I have no idea what the Japanese think of Satan. No, I don't think so. I don't know. Is there an angry dad? I don't think so.
Okay. You think there's a death?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a horror
It's
movie.
a horror movie.
Come on.
That's what it's all about. So what do you think? Do you think there's a plot at all? House? Do you think the house is like they're visiting or?
Oh, is it the house that haunts her? Is it a haunted house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure, why not? I mean, why else call it house?
Mhm.
I don't think Hugh Laurie's going to show up. You know?
He does, but he's using his English accent. It's not the same.
Boo.
It's not lupus. Oh my god.
Dennis.
That's his accent.
That's the
his real accent.
That was the real scary thing about this month was hearing you.
It's not lupus.
I don't like how you're amusing yourself here. This is not good.
Is there a cool car?
No.
Yeah, they can't afford a cool car. I will say it seems like a kind of lower budget movie.
I'm sure it is.
And yeah. Yeah, what else is
Love
there?
triangles.
Oh, do you think there's a love triangle?
Maybe.
All right.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I've seen anime.
Yeah. How much anime have you seen?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
How do you quantify that?
Well, I mean, so Akira's anime.
Sure.
You've seen that.
I've seen that.
You've seen Spirited Away.
Sure.
You've seen a couple.
But Dennis, saying, "Oh, I've seen anime" is like saying, "Yeah, I've watched American cartoons."
Yeah.
It's a meaningless term. It's not meaningless in so far, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah, I've read English.
Well, anime is more likely to have a love triangle than Tom and Jerry.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, that's fair.
You're saying just American cartoons.
Yeah, no, that's
There's
true.
There's not a like, yeah.
On the other hand, a Bugs Bunny cartoon,
Oh yeah.
you know,
That's true.
once you throw in like a robot rabbit in there, and then all
Oh,
of a
boy.
sudden all bets are off.
Yeah.
He's got a divided heart. Does he want her or does he want Elmer?
We all have a divided heart when you see that.
Yeah.
Electron.
Are we coming back to your whole bunnies thing?
I don't know.
All right. So, look, I don't have much else to say about this movie.
Oh, okay.
I really don't have anything to say. I don't know anything about it.
All right. Are you excited about it?
I think it'll be cool.
Yeah.
I guess if the real answer is I'm not excited because I don't have any expectations.
Oh, okay.
So,
Can only go up.
well, yeah. Like, I'm not unexcited.
All
In
right.
fact, I'm the one who said, let's go watch it.
Oh. Should we go watch it?
Let's go watch it.
Trees were made for eating, and fish were made to swim in the sea. You were made to be loved by nobody else but me. By nobody else but me. By nobody else but me.
People throw around the term weird too easily.
Yeah.
And I get a bit annoyed because I'm like, oh, people will say, oh, that was so weird.
Right.
It's such a weird movie I just saw. And they'll be talking about something that's, I find, fairly anodyne, right?
Yeah. Anodyne?
not terribly strange.
Okay.
Anodyne, pedestrian.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, that was so weird. And I'll be like, it wasn't. And I gotta be honest, this movie's weird. and look, I like that. I like weird films.
Yeah.
Look, I've watched more than one Jodorowsky film, right? I think Holy Mountain is fascinating. El Topo, problematic. But still interesting.
So within the context of our podcast, we've seen Eraserhead recently.
Yeah.
Like within the past year.
Yes.
So we've done weird.
Yeah. And if there is a film to compare this to, this is Eraserhead weird, level of weird.
Yeah.
It's not unrelated because Eraserhead is about sexuality and fatherhood. And this is about sexuality and being a young woman and expectations put upon you. Okay? It's not as obvious, I suppose, right, as Eraserhead. This is much more when you are a teenage girl and you're kind of suddenly awake to like the realities of life beyond being a child. Okay? And how scary that is. At this, and I'm putting it this way, but at the same time, like, this is such a cotton candy, like, funhouse film.
Oh yeah.
It is. And I say funhouse for a very serious reason. Not serious, but it's, how do I put this? It's about scary things. It's a fun movie, but it's still about, people still die in this movie, right? There's a lot of death, right? But at the same time, it is a movie that is weirdly fun. And, like, what if Scooby-Doo had a lot of death?
Yeah.
Like actual death and actual ghosts. I don't like, as Scooby-Doo went on, and I'm thinking like into maybe the 90s and the aughts. They changed Scooby-Doo from we're going to unmask the villain and it turns out it's just a dude trying to get money and scamming people. Because that's what the original Scooby-Doo was, right? It was always like, oh, it's just Old Man Johnson. And he's trying to scare people away from this property so that he can sell it.
Yeah.
And it's always like the later Scooby-Doo stuff became, oh, it turns out witches are real. There's actual monsters,
So isn't that what this is?
But that's what, yeah, I know. Yes, it turns out this is, it turns out, yes, the monsters are real.
Yeah.
I don't mind that in this. I do mind it in Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
I know.
I get it.
Yeah, okay. I know you're trying to catch me up because I'm bringing up Scooby-Doo.
Gotcha.
I know. But
Yank.
there is something about the vibe of this that reminds me of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Right? Because what this movie is first of all, the director asked his kid for an idea.
Well, we could start with that it was initially supposed to be Jaws.
Go on. You know what? Fine. Let's just start with that because I can't wrap my head around that.
So the movie industry was not doing well.
The movie industry in Japan. Right.
TV was doing well. This guy.
TV was doing well because they were, anime was starting to become like a thing that they could export. Star Blazers took off in the United States. Obviously, all of the Godzilla films had been around for 15 years by then, and everybody was into Godzilla and whatnot. But there were other films and stuff.
Like we recently watched Ran, and you remember he had trouble getting money to make Ran.
I can't wrap my head around the idea that Kurosawa, of all people, one of the greatest filmmakers in all of human history, helped create the language of film as much as John Ford and Alfred Hitchcock and F.W. Murnau. Kurosawa is one of the foundational directors in film, and the idea that he couldn't get stuff made
In fact, he like for one movie he had to like go to Soviet Union to get money.
That's fine.
Yeah, just
the fact that he had to go to people and say, "Please fund me." That I can't wrap my head around that.
So Toho Studios, the famous studios, they made Godzilla. They made everything.
They're the Warner Brothers of Japan.
So it's the 70s. Jaws comes out. It's a huge hit. And they're like, we want to make Jaws for here. And
which makes sense, right? Yeah. Because they see Jaws and it is, think about this for a second. Jaws is not unlike the original Godzilla film in that it is a monster movie that is also social commentary and, kind of reflecting on the society at the time. And is, if the original Godzilla is about nuclear war and Hiroshima, Jaws is about American paranoia and Watergate and all the rest of it. And so, of course, they would look at Jaws and they'd be like, why can't we have a Jaws?
So Nobuhiko Obayashi is the director.
Yeah.
He was a director of commercials at the time, but he was trying to break into film. And he comes up with an idea like, oh, I can do that. Let's turn a shark into a house and let's have my kid make up how people die.
Not quite Jaws.
Right. I was reading through, I was trying to where is the Jaws connection here? And the Jaws is just, the house is the shark.
I like the idea that the house is the shark though.
Yeah.
Because that's essentially what happens, right? Mm-hmm. This is a fairy tale. This is a very creepy fairy tale. And what I mean by that is, throw out your idea of fairy tale as it's Sleeping Beauty and, happily ever after. This is more fairy tale in the sense of folk tales, in the sense of here is a weird story that has some sort of meaning underlying it, right? This is, something more, tuned into the subconscious, the unconscious, and it is dealing with, issues beyond, will the guy get the girl?
Also, like David Lynch.
Yeah.
And also like David Lynch, characters are kind of more symbols in this. It's very kind of soap opera-y at times.
Definitely. Yeah. Definitely. You even brought up Snow White to me. And we have a group of, 7 girls?
Yep.
Who, okay, so basically the story is a bunch of teenage girls are going on summer vacation. It's the end of the school year, and the bunch of them think they're going to go off to a summer camp, and the one girl who is sort of the leader of these 7 girls, she thinks she's going to go off on vacation with her father, who is a successful music composer for film. There's even a scene where they're in their fancy apartment and he's like, Sergio Leone likes my music better than Morricone. I'm doing great. And I mean, again, this was made in 1977, so it's just sure. Okay, buddy. She thinks she's going to go off with her dad on some sort of special, much more, I don't know, trendy vacation. Yeah. Unfortunately, her father, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but so her father is just like, hey, honey, that's great. I've fallen in love with somebody. Yeah. Your mother's been dead for 8 years. And I finally have a girlfriend, and I want you to meet her, and we're going to go on vacation together. And so, of course, the daughter is just like, no, this can't happen. This is terrible. I'm not putting up with this. I'm not going on vacation with her. I hate her. She's replacing my mom. It's essentially what you expect, right? Now, I don't know. I mean, I kind of was this girl at one point, in that, my mother, when I was a teenager, got into a new relationship, somebody who became my stepfather. I'll be honest, it freaked me out, right? Because you have what you think is a very nice, stable life, and you have your own rhythms, and, the parent who died, that it's upsetting, and you don't want to, forget them. And you don't want this new person in your life. And, depending on how, you handle that. Yeah, there's a part of you watching this and just going, Oh, I've been in her shoes, although I handled it better.
Yeah.
You know.
You didn't eat all your friends?
Oh God! Spoiler alert! Thanks, dude.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I did not eat all of my friends, because that is where this goes.
Just saying, you handled it better.
Well, for one thing, in the end, I loved my stepfather, and he was very much a father to me. And you know, like, I knew him longer than I knew my actual father. You know, who died when I was a kid. But anyway, so she thinks, you know, instead of, I'm not going to go to, you know, this vacation with my father and my, you know, soon-to-be stepmother. I am going to go with my friends. In fact, you know, their whole vacation plan at this one camp fell through. But I have an aunt, the sister of my dead mother, and she has a house out in the countryside. And so why don't we go visit her instead of whatever summer camp that you thought you were going to go to and that you can't go to now because like it was being renovated. And so all of her friends are upset.
Like there was this Mr. Togo who was like a teacher of theirs.
Yeah, and he was
supposed to take them, and his sister had a kid early.
Yeah,
That's the
whatever.
story. Yeah.
You know, it's just a convenient, you know,
Yeah.
plot device. So she says, look, I'm going to write to my aunt, and she has a house in the country, and we're all going to just go out there instead. So she does. She writes to her aunt and says, hey, sister of my mother, you know, I'm her kid. I haven't seen you in forever. Can I and my friends come out and visit you out in the country? And she gets not just a letter back saying, yes, please, I've been waiting for your letter. Please come out and see me. A cat shows up, a white cat named Blanche.
Frickin' cats.
Yeah, I know. You do not trust cats.
So I guess Blanche is just what they call a white cat there, because she calls her Blanche right away.
Do you know what the name Blanche is?
Does it mean white cat?
It's the French word for white.
Yeah, but you
Well,
know.
yeah. So they name her White.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know what the actual like Japanese word they're using in it because I don't speak Japanese, and so I was not picking up on the dialogue as we were watching it. But yeah, when you're reading the subtitles, they call her Blanche, which obviously just means white.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we brought up the seven dwarves. These seven girls are named. The lead girl is named Gorgeous.
Yep.
She's friends, I think, with Sweet is the one that she was talking with.
A fantasy.
Oh, Fantasy.
So we have seven girls, and they all have different personalities.
Based on their name.
Based on their names. So Gorgeous is our main character. She is the one whose father is the composer and whose aunt has the house in the country. Her best friend is Fantasy, who is a highly imaginative girl who is usually playing with a camera and taking photos and stuff, and she, jumps to conclusions a lot. There are other friends. There is Sweet, and she is like kind of a homebody who likes to like clean around the house and just do nice things. She's very sweet, like a little doll. There is Melody, who is a musician, and she plays piano, and she does she's an artist. There is Mac, who is a very boisterous girl who eats a lot, and she's constantly eating. And it's funny because she's named Mac, and I thought it was going to turn out to be like a joke on that they're calling her Mac like she's an American. Right? That the idea was like, oh, she's fat like an American. No, it turns out it's short for the word stomach in English.
And by the way, they call her fat. She's not fat.
She's not fat. Even if she was, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
But it's weird that they keep calling her that, and I'm just like, she doesn't look fat at all.
It's like when they call like girls a nerd in the movies, and it's
well,
just
they
'cause
call
they have
this one girl
glasses.
professor because she wears glasses.
Yeah.
It's the late 70s. This is this is full on bullying culture.
Yeah.
So yeah, then there's Professor, and she's like the smart one, and she wears glasses, and she's always reading. And then there's Kung Fu. Kung Fu is like she's the athletic one, and she fights people, and she's kind of like she's the tough girl.
I should say there's a scene early on where they're like in class and stuff, and they show Hiroshima, a picture of Hiroshima, and one of them comments like, "Oh, it looks like cotton candy."
Yeah.
And the idea is like these kids, like they are not their parents. They have no cares in the world. They are just school kids.
They have no connection to World War II.
Right.
This movie is as much about World War II and people's connection to it by the late 70s as it is about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They go out to visit the aunt who lives in the countryside. And while they're there, they learn the aunt's backstory, which is very gothic.
Yeah.
Right? It reminds me a lot of Great Expectations, right? Did you ever read that?
No. Or a long, long time ago, I think.
Okay. Yeah. The aunt is very Miss Havisham, where she was supposed to get married. And this was during the Second World War. And her like boyfriend, her fiance gets drafted and called, so he goes off to war, and she can't handle when he is, leaving town. And so she doesn't even go to see him off. He just leaves and he never sees her again. And she's very upset about this. And of course he dies during the war. And, because he never comes home, she is so racked with guilt and destroyed by losing, her fiance, that essentially her spirit dies, right? Like the body stays alive, but she dies, right? And the way that the film kind of explores this, it's very much a gothic type of story, right? So that, she is living in this house in the country with no one around her, and all she focuses on is that she has this lost love that she'll never have. She never got married. She never, moved on from the death of her fiance. She just lives in this house with her wedding dress. Again, it's like the book Great Expectations. So, in fact, I don't know if they were like consciously thinking of that or not when they wrote it. But it's an interesting parallel.
Yeah.
So yeah, these 7 girls go out to this house and they meet the aunt, and she is in a wheelchair and she has white hair and she's elderly. And yeah, as you said, this film is about, these girls have no cares in the world because they didn't live through the war. They have no memory of any of that stuff. If this is 1977, let's say they were all born in like 1960, right? Mm-hmm. They never experienced any of this stuff. They have no connection to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, to the Second World War, to any of that stuff. And so there, part of this film, as you say, is what is the relationship between being this younger generation and the horrors of the war? Is there this danger, at least at that time, of that eating away at kids who never even had to experience that, right? Like that entire world has now passed away. There's almost nobody alive now who remembers an atomic bomb being dropped during a war. There are people alive who people who were alive when that happened. But like my mother is about to turn 80. She wasn't even born yet. The ghost of Hiroshima is in this film, right?
Yep.
But it's about how there's an entire generation who has never experienced this. And so the idea of being haunted by this, by a thing that you never experienced, whether that is this woman losing her fiance, whether that is, the horrors of nuclear war, it's this idea that, the sins of these parents are being visited on their children.
Eventually we'll do John Mortsugu's Mod F Explosion.
Yeah.
Which also goes into this.
Sure. Yeah. So these girls are at the house, and the rest of it, like, kind of unfolds like a fairy tale, right? Mm-hmm. So that they're all kind of hanging out at this house, and it's like, oh, it's fun. We're living in the country, and we don't have electricity. We don't have running water. We don't, the refrigerator is broken, so we have to use a well. It's like, oh, this is like camping almost.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that kind of fun thing that you do when you're young. Of, oh, we can just rough it. This will be fine. And the old woman's been living this way for a while anyway, and we'll survive. And so they start doing fun things, like they bought a watermelon from this farmer at the foot of, the hill that the house is on. And so, oh, well, okay, if we can't put it in the fridge, you can put it in the well. Just drop it in the well and it'll stay cold. This is how we used to do it in the old days. Things like that. Oh, we'll spruce up the house and we'll just clean it in, the different rooms and stuff. And, it's kind of like we're playing house in a way, right? They're kind of doing like kind of an imitation of adulthood from the past, right? Because they're all kids growing up in a modern world, and now they're back in this rustic setting. That all sounds great, right? Sounds like a fun time. What if your aunt was evil? What if your aunt was a witch? What if your aunt decided to eat you?
Well, what is evil?
I think eating people might be evil.
I don't know. We eat cows. We eat pigs.
Listen, I respect veganism. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
I see my own tendency towards not doing that as being,
Is Jaws evil? he's just hanging out.
Okay, there's a difference between being an animal who is not conscious of the suffering of others or doesn't care and being a human being, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, the girls start getting bumped off.
Yep.
All right. So I guess the first one to go is Mac.
Yep.
Right. So she's the one who put the watermelon down the well. And, her whole thing is like, oh, I'm always hungry. I want to eat something. So she's just like, I'm going to get the watermelon out of the well because by now it's nice and cold. So she goes to the well, tries to get the watermelon out of the well, and she can't. And she disappears.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't actually know how she dies. Mm-hmm. But we just know suddenly she disappears and all the girls are like, what happened to Mac? This is weird. We have to go get her. And so is it...
Fantasy Ghost.
Fantasy goes to look for her.
Yep.
And so she goes to the well. And first she pulls up what she hopes is the watermelon. And of course, what is it? It is Mac's head. And the head starts laughing at her and biting at her.
Now, I'll say this. I'd seen this scene, and I'd seen the very last scene with Kung Fu before.
Okay.
Like, I'd seen it on Twitter. Like, I just saw, like, whole clips of this, and I was like, what the hell is this? And so, like, I knew where this was going. And so I was like, how does the movie get to those points? But the thing is, the movie up to this point is still pretty weird. Like,
yeah.
It's very, like, kind of fake. Like, it's very stagey.
Yeah.
Like for instance, when they're on the train talking about her aunt, like suddenly there's no train and there's just like this sky behind them. It's a very fake sky. There's constantly like this soundstage fake sky all the time.
It's a surreal film.
Yeah.
Like it's very much about I don't want to say the unconscious per se, but it is always evoking something beyond the real.
So do
right?
you want to know what what's his name?
Well, so then I want to talk about a little bit about that because like
Yeah.
as we built up, like the first like I don't know 20 minutes of this film feels like a children's movie from the 60s or 70s.
Mm-hmm.
It has that kind of jazzy music, something that you would have heard on PBS, right, from that time period, right? This could easily have been like bits of like shorts from like Sesame Street or something, right?
Yeah.
There's something very, very jazzy and very, I don't know, poppy about it, right? And it's there's, they're all in their school uniforms and it's all about like, their life as like young girls at school. And it doesn't feel like a horror movie and the music doesn't feel like a horror movie, right? It very much feels like something you would have caught on PBS at the time. But as you said, also just the visuals are, they're very fake. They're very like, sometimes they're two-dimensional. Sometimes there's a lot of like green screen. It's like intentionally unreal.
I experienced this differently than you because I knew what was coming.
Oh,
and
okay.
So like all the early stuff, everything that was weird, I was like, oh, this whole thing is weird.
Oh.
because I knew there was going to be these weird cutout, body parts flying around and stuff.
I had no idea that was coming.
And so like I was like, oh, like this all makes sense. It doesn't feel that weird that it's all the same movie.
Whereas I was just like, this feels kind of like a Sid and Marty Krofft thing,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
without
yeah.
puppets.
Mm-hmm.
Like it very much has that Sid and Marty Krofft, HR Puffin stuff, Great Space Coaster, like that.
It also looks like Lazy Town. That
Yeah,
show
yeah, Lazy
from
Town.
a couple years ago.
Yeah, well, a couple years ago.
20 years ago.
I was gonna say you're going back 20 years ago to
like 3 years ago.
20
right?
years ago from Iceland.
Yeah. Everything's cotton candy. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. It also reminds me of The Matrix in that it's very obviously trying to copy like a manga style.
Yeah.
It's very like it's deliberately not trying to be realistic at all. Like it's
Right. Especially when you have like the character of Kung Fu, right? So now you've got this teenage girl and her whole thing is she's just like karate chopping things left and right and, kicking things and beating stuff up. At one point she goes to, battles like, logs of wood in the yard. And yeah, it has a very sort of manga, anime, unreal.
a little Murnau too. And that
Yeah.
and that Murnau was like, I don't care about things being realistic. I want to get the feeling. So like I'll have like balls of soup, like, actually like on an angle and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
No, you're not wrong. I mean, God, I hadn't thought about it, but this is not a bad companion to Sunrise.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, there is something about the surrealism and the imagery of this film that would have worked perfectly in the silent era.
Yeah. With like the German expressionism. like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, first Mac dies and, her disembodied head comes out of the well and starts biting at Fantasy, even bites her butt.
Yep.
At which point, I think it's worth pointing out that, the director, in trying to write the story for this, decided to consult his daughter, who was between 10 and 12 years old as this film was being made. And there are certain, like, kind of weird things and leaps of logic that I go, yeah, this is the type of thing a child would come up with. So, like, the whole idea, like, and then the head came out of the well and she started biting her butt. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's something a kid would come up with, actually. That is very much a kid thing.
But we've never seen it on screen before. It takes a while to like process, like, wait, what am I watching? What just happened?
Exactly. And like there are leaps of logic in this that when you realize, oh, the story and all of the deaths were devised by a child, and you go, this makes sense then. And if you don't know that, you go, this is insane. What am I watching? So, yeah, she gets bumped off. Then
There's a skeleton in the one
yeah,
room.
there's just like a skeleton that hangs out in the one room, and
It looks like a toy skeleton, but it's just always there.
Yeah.
It's like just pops up in all these scenes in the background. Nobody notices it. It's just there, giggling.
So after Mac dies, the aunt is actually like kind of healthier and she can actually get out of her wheelchair. And everybody's just like, that's crazy. Why are you able to get up? And she's just like, well, I'm just energized by all you kids being here.
Yeah.
At which point I went, oh, that's Weapons.
Yeah.
That's the movie Weapons that we just saw. So yeah, again, that's not a bad companion to this. It did remind me of, the idea that, and like there are a lot of different folktales of
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, of the witch who eats children and gains their strength.
Yeah, the Peter Thiel, witch that eats children.
Yeah. And so as the movie goes on, different girls are getting bumped off. So let's see. Sweet is smothered by a bunch of pillows and mattresses.
The futon mattresses, and this was definitely a fear of his daughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was like, she was terrified, I guess, of getting futons down and that they would come and smother her. And yeah.
Everybody's got their weird fear.
Yep.
Yeah. So one girl is smothered to death by that. Another girl, Melody, is eaten by a piano eventually.
Yeah.
In a, kind of like a prolonged sequence of the film. It's actually pretty great when she finally is eaten by the piano.
Gorgeous the Star is basically like she's always looking in a mirror because she's vain or something. And that's how her aunt possesses her.
Yeah.
Like she's looking in the mirror and then suddenly she turns into her aunt, a young aunt, and like things.
And then like the story of what actually happened with the aunt and the fiance is told kind of not first. The first time they kind of tell it is, I guess, the aunt sort of, they kind of know what happened. And it's a great sequence because they do it as a silent film.
Yeah.
which is awesome. They do an entire like silent film featurette within the film.
You even see like the film strip and everything.
It's great, and they have the interstitial titles, and you have it's very much done in that way. And so we have the story of he gets called up into the draft and he ends up dying and all the rest of it. So we have that story in the middle of this. Again, it's very inventive filmmaking, right?
And it's interesting because they're commenting on it as if they're seeing what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, it's a film, and then when at the end the film stops and it burns like like film used to do when like the bulb would go and they're like, oh, it's the passion of love with their kiss. It's like no, it's a terrible thing happened.
Well, that's like at one point they take a photo with a flash, and then for the flash they show an atomic bomb testing.
Yeah.
And it's like that sort of thing is happening always in the background. Like this whole film is about the ghost of World War II.
Yeah.
Over Japan, right? So they tell that story one way, and then when Gorgeous is being possessed by her aunt, then it gets more into the psychology of she essentially died the day he died. Her body stayed alive, right? Her body is alive, but her sense, her self, her soul is died that day, right? And so we get into that, and we have this whole amazing sequence of as the other girls are slowly being eaten by the house. Gorgeous is in a different section, which where she puts on the wedding dress and she paints her face in the white makeup and puts the combs in her hair, and essentially becomes the aunt who was grieving her own lost love, and takes that whole thing on, where there's this amazing sequence of she's looking in the mirror and who she sees is the aunt, and then she just burns, like Gorgeous's body just.
And it's an amazing
fire.
shot. Like you just see like her parts of her face just break off. Like it's like a statue or something, and then you just see fire underneath. It's an amazing shot.
There is some amazing special effects in this, and they're great because they're not like this isn't James Cameron. This isn't CGI. This isn't realistic. The fact that it's not realistic is actually kind of what makes it look great. Yeah. Right?
It reminds me of Gondry a bit.
Yeah.
Michelle Gondry.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
As she essentially is becoming her aunt, the house is consuming the girls. So, Melody gets eaten by the piano. What else?
She goes downstairs with the girls and says, oh, we'll call the police. And then she picks up the phone. She's like, oh, I guess the phone's out of order. I'll go to the police. And then she leaves the house, and then all the doors lock behind her. And
Gorgeous leaves the house. Yeah. And so the other girls are all eaten.
Even Kung Fu, sadly.
I know.
Kung Fu lasts a while. She keeps the house keeps trying to eat her, and she keeps fighting it off until the end when a lamp gets her.
Yeah. So you have like the three of the girls are still alive at one point. So it's her, Prof, and Fantasy. Yeah. And Kung Fu is just like, well, I'm just going to fight my way out of this. And so she starts like, trying to destroy the portrait of the cat, because they realize that the cat must be some sort of demonic being. She destroys the portrait of the cat, and now the room just fills with blood. Yeah. Prof gets drowned in the sea of blood, and
I think she dissipates.
Yeah.
They use like this video effect type of thing.
Yeah. And Kung Fu gets sucked up into a lamp,
and while she's in the lamp, she sees all the others. Like she
all
sees
the ghosts.
all the pieces of them. She sees all the pieces of Mac and Sweet. And she's like, "Oh, you're here."
Yeah, and like
and the shot of her head, like looking at it all, it's just out. It's always stuck with me. Like, oh my god!
Right, there is this one shot of the girl's head floating in this sea of blue faces.
Yeah,
and this is the faces of apparently this house has been eating every unmarried girl who comes to it. Mm-hmm. Like it keeps drawing these unmarried women, unmarried girls to the house and destroying them and eating them, because of course the aunt was an unmarried woman because her fiance died. So Kung Fu sees all of these essential like these souls, right? So she tries to fight her way out of it, and also gets destroyed and disembodied and stuff. And eventually, we're just left with Fantasy, who sees Gorgeous, in the full the bridal gown and everything. And can't distinguish between, is this Gorgeous, is this the aunt? Like the camera keeps kind of like interplaying. Who are they really looking at? And Fantasy is just like, oh, this is my friend Gorgeous, and maybe it's my mother. I don't know, and I'm just going to kind of like lay in her arms and be cradled here and slowly
What
die.
I like about that is that Fantasy, like she's been tormented the entire time. She's had kind of last girl energy the whole time anyways. Because she realizes, the grandma, the aunt is eating everyone. At one point,
she immediately knows there's something wrong.
Like at one point when the aunt comes out and they're like, we don't know where Mac went, and then the aunt sticks out Mac's eyeball through her mouth and taunts Fantasy with it. She's like, I'm gonna get you all anyways. So and but I kind of like the ending, because Fantasy has been longing for this Toga guy, this teacher who
she has a crush on this teacher who the rest of the film is he's supposed to meet them at this house, and we get these little scenes of him slowly making his way there, and he has all these digressions, and he's like a teacher at their school, but he's also a schmuck. His sister's the one who was having a baby, and it's just like, oh, I can't take you girls to this place anyway after all. And, he's probably, like, if they're all supposed to be 16, 17, he's probably in his late 20s, and he's terrible at his job, but all the girls have crushes on him because of the age. So
but Fantasy, by the end, she's like Togo will come and save us, and so when he doesn't show up, it seems like the aunt is like, well, at least this one understands,
that men will let you down.
It's like she recognizes heartbreak or something, and kind of like, well, I'll just cradle her to death. It's like because you keep expecting her death to be just as bad as all the others, but it's just she just kind of sleeps to
That's
death.
a good point. She has a much more gentle death of just being in the arms of Gorgeous, right? We cut to the next morning, and Gorgeous's new stepmom to be, early in the film she said, well, I'll go and I'll meet the girls later. And so now this is her showing up at the house.
This is my test to prove, like to earn her love or something.
Yeah. And so she shows up at the aunt's house, and she's greeted by Gorgeous, who is now wearing a full like traditional kimono and the white makeup and all the rest of it. She doesn't look like a normal teenager anymore. She is, fully kitted up. And, the stepmom shows up, and she's just like in modern dress,
with a fan blowing.
She constantly has a fan blowing so that her hair is always fantastic. And she always has like her scarf is blowing in the, like, again, this is sort of like, hyper.
That feels Lynchian.
Yeah. Like there's something unreal about her, And they sit and have tea together, and welcome to the house, etc. And she thinks, oh, I'm finally going to reach out to this girl. This is going to be great, and I'm going to be your stepmom, and this is going to be fine. Everything's going to be great. And the girl reaches out her hand and takes it, and the stepmother to be, burns up,
bursts into flames,
and dies. And that's like the end of the film.
Well, there's like a poem or something about love, how like like the longing for love lasts forever.
Yeah,
it's like
I don't know that the poem, maybe it makes more sense in Japanese. It doesn't. I don't know. Like there is sort of a poem right at the end about love and eternity and all this type of stuff, but I don't know. It didn't quite work. Maybe it just doesn't work in English. But I'm not terribly concerned about that. The point is, everybody dies.
Yeah.
Literally, everybody's dead at the end of this film.
Probably even Gorgeous is dead.
Yeah, no, she's a ghost.
Yeah.
She is as much a ghost as the rest of the house. At one point, the stepmom to be is just like, hey, where's all your friends? She's just like, they're sleeping, but they'll be really hungry when they get up.
Yeah.
Like essentially, they're going to feast if anybody comes to this house.
Vampires.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The ant at one point has fangs like a vampire.
She does.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
true.
Why not?
It's the same idea,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, that's the end of the film is, the house has claimed all the girls. The girls will now feed on it, any young unmarried women who come to the house. And it's a
don't
ghost.
go there.
Don't go there. It's a ghost story.
Yep.
And I don't feel like we've done justice to how weird looking this movie is.
You know what we missed?
What?
Mr. Togo turns into a big pile of bananas.
That's true. As I said, he's supposed to show up to the house.
After he meets the watermelon guy, and the watermelon guy's, would you like a watermelon? He's like, no, I'd like bananas. The watermelon guy turns into the skeleton that we've seen before.
Yeah.
And then Togo wanders off like, ugh, and gets in his car. And next time we see the car, there's a big pile of bananas.
Yep.
It's something.
That is one way to put it.
Yeah.
But that's the end of the film.
Yep.
So apparently this movie was not that well known outside of Japan until about 2010, right? In Japan, it was critically panned, but the kids loved it. I mean, that's how it should be, right?
Well, see, that's what's interesting to me. So this comes out 1977. In America, Star Wars comes out marketed to teenage boys, basically.
Yep.
And is a huge hit. And the studio system's like, oh, what? We don't know what to do with that. The same thing here, where like Toho did not want to promote this. They're like, this is like, we don't want to do this movie. But Obayashi, the director, he was like, he had this vision for this film, and so he first did a radio play.
Okay.
It was in 1976, a 4-hour radio drama, and there was all these like pop stars that were in it.
Okay.
And it was different. Like all the characters had their own theme songs. The same band did the music. God Diego, whatever. But in it, the aunt is alive, and she's actually, all the kids are actually, like, her brother died, and she's hunting like the blood relatives of the people she thinks is responsible for her brother's death.
What?
So it's slightly different. The girls are named the same, and they each have a theme song and stuff like that. That was a huge hit. And then he had 2 manga like made of it around like 477 when it came out, and those were that the one was popular. It's kind of a short version. I read both of those, and they are not as weird.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting. It's the exact same story, but like, yeah, there's not really much difference in the story, although the one is like way truncated. Togo is definitely more dashing, and I think I feel like the kids, all the actresses or all the kids are not really actors. Like, they're like commercial models basically. And even the scene when she meets her stepmother, and then it's like, oh, I'll never go with you. Like, you don't know she feels that way until she says those lines. Like,
I don't think they're that bad at acting.
He had a way of actually directing them, in that he started playing music to direct them rather than give them vocal, because they were not acting the way he wanted, and it doesn't really match, their acting doesn't really match their characters in the manga. So
Right.
That was interesting. Yeah. Is all horror movies just disdain for the dumb youth?
No, I don't think so. I don't. I really don't. In fact, I don't even think this film has disdain for young people. Actually, kind of the opposite. If anything, the disdain is towards older people who are so hung up on the past that they let it eat at them and turn them into ghosts.
So Obayashi, he did have like when he was directing this, he deliberately was trying to, he said like all his directing choices was like, what would offend Ozu and Kurosawa the most? And you can kind of see that.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is very, like, this, the tone of this film is not, like, I don't know what to psychedelia. Yeah, this is closer to kind of weird Anglo-American psychedelia than anything else. I don't know what I would compare it to be honest. Like I don't know. Look, if Peter Sellers walked by in the background, I'd go, yeah, fine. Yeah. Like, it's that kind of level of, I'm not saying it's like, I love you, Alice, be tokeless, but it's not that, right?
It definitely has that 60s experimental vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. No, exactly. It definitely feels more akin to that kind of weird stuff than anything else. Yeah, I think that's true. And you know what? Sometimes you gotta like try to, make the old guys angry, or just, because I think that does push things forward. I think that's a good thing, No, I don't think this film is about, I don't think horror always disrespects the youth. I think, especially this one, I think it's the opposite, So yeah, I thought this was amazing. I honestly just don't feel like we even did justice because we just talked about what happens in this film. You don't understand how crazy looking this movie is. Yes, it looks like human beings trying to do a type of anime that predates, like I don't know. Is it closer to Speed Racer than anything in that way? Like, I'm trying to think of what it's like. It's very psychedelic. It
reminds me of that. Did you ever see that scene in Daisies, the Czechoslovakian film, where they take out scissors and they just cut up each other and they turn into like parts of themselves, just like filling up the screen?
No, but that sounds exactly like the kind of film this would be.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. That this is more an outgrowth of that kind of weird experimental psychedelic stuff from the 1960s than anything else.
Yeah.
You take that, run it through the mind of a 10-year-old, add in sort of a weird gothic story, and that's House. And it's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, dude, I think I was about, 10 minutes into this before we even got into the really weird stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what the tone of this is, but I'm all in.
Yeah.
And I was never let down watching it. I'm still, like, even now I can picture scenes in my head and I'm just like, yeah, this might be one of the best things I've ever seen. I love this film. This is amazing.
So there is a lot of child nudity in this.
So here's the thing. Two things.
Yeah.
It never feels sexual.
Right.
I know that nudity does have sometimes a different connotation in Japan.
Yeah.
Than it has here. And certainly nudity in general had a different connotation in the 1970s than it would now. I don't know. It never felt like it was trying to be sexy, though, right? If anything, it felt like the opposite of that.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know. Like, all of the girls were about 17, right? It's not like we're seeing naked 12-year-olds.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. It's still a young person, and that's still, borderline. I'm not. I don't want to like make a weird argument about that. But I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't know. Like, it's like because it's a guy directing.
Yeah,
I know. And so it's I don't know. It just felt like there was so much of it that I was like, this feels like a weird choice to be using a lot. You
see these kind of disembodied body parts, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like they're just focusing on like breasts or something, right? Like there's more emphasis on like disembodied legs or arms than there is on anything else.
Yeah. If anything, it felt like surrealist paintings.
Yeah.
Like it definitely had that vibe.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel sexualized.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
It's not like Balthus. It's more like.
Yeah.
Dali.
Right. It doesn't feel. Yes. There is particularly like I guess when Prof goes into the blood. And they do this thing where, she is naked. They paint her blue and they do this whole kind of weird thing with lighting and stuff. But it doesn't, it doesn't feel like it's meant to be prurient. It's not meant to be sexual. It's
It's just that she dissolves.
She dissolves. She's just physically dissolving. It doesn't feel... I don't know. It doesn't feel like a creep made this, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about the actual director.
So I just felt like I had to bring it up.
Look, it's worth bringing up because it's weird to watch when you are, an American in 2025, right? And I don't know if there is a, can you discuss maybe it has a different context in Japan in 1977. Maybe not a good context. I don't know. I can think about it's the 1970s in America or Europe. And that's pedophile country. So I don't know. Was it the same back then? But at the same time, when something looks like it's sexualized, think about the movie The Blue Lagoon, right?
Yeah, that's wrong.
That's wrong. This doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Right? This doesn't feel like that at all.
So Obayashi is from Hiroshima, and he was there when it happened, and all his friends died.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He was there?
Or at least all his friends died. Maybe he was out away from when it happened. But
jeez.
Yeah.
God. I can't imagine what that's like.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. Being the country that caused that.
Well, yeah.
And I don't know.
So that was House, starring, and I'm going to pronounce this as best as I can, Kimiko Ikegami, Miki Jinbo, Kumiko Oba, Matubara, Mieko Sato, Eriko Tanaka, Masayo Miyako, Kiyohiko Ozaki, Saho Sasazama, and Yōko Minamida. Written by Chiho Katsura and Chigumi Obayashi, and directed by Nobuhiko Obayashi. Chigumi Obayashi is the daughter of the director, and she is the one who kind of came up with the story and all the deaths, and that's pretty great.
Yeah, Yōko Minamida, she was a longtime actress.
Yeah.
The aunt.
Yeah, she's the only real, kind of big star who is in this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's great and creepy and wonderful in this. And she is a perfect witch.
That's the thing. She's gleeful the whole time.
She really is.
It's not like the witches we're used to.
No. Again, I thought about the movie Weapons watching this, and the whole idea of, spoiler if you haven't seen it yet. By the way, you should see Weapons. Mm-hmm. The whole idea of the witch who feeds off of children in order to regain her power and her youth. It's not an unusual idea. It's not an original idea, but I think Weapons is the closest in terms of just how gleeful she is depicted as, in this. And it's the idea of this weird old relative that you don't really know who feeds off of you and off of your friends. If you've seen Weapons, you should see this, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So, all right. Right. So yes, of course we are Mary vs. Movies on all of your major platforms. We are on TikTok and Instagram and, Facebook, Blue Sky, whatever. Just look for Mary vs. Movies at whatever it is, whatever the platform is, except for Tumblr where it's Mary versus the Movies. We have a website, of course, maryvsmovies.com. Let's see. We have a Patreon where you can help support the show for $3 a month. You can help pay for the show because it does cost money. We rent things, we have the Zoom account, etc. So for $3 a month, patreon.com/MaryVSMovies. We don't have ads or anything. But if you do that, you'll get access to a whole second show, Hollywood Avalon, where we review Arthurian movies. That's right. Anything that has to do with King Arthur. So it's Monty Python on... Oh, we haven't done that yet. Actually, I was supposed to say Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but we have yet to do that. That's kind of like the big one that we haven't touched yet. But we've done Excalibur,
Yeah.
We've done Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Fisher King.
We've done the Fisher King, Knight Riders, a bunch of Bugs Bunny cartoons.
I wonder if there's a Knight Rider episode.
If I don't know if there's a Knight Rider episode, but we did a MacGyver episode.
We did.
And there is a Highway to Heaven episode that we still have to do.
Wow.
Yeah, there's all kinds of junk out there. I found a DuckTales episode that we can do. Right?
Is that what we're doing next?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do DuckTales. Whatever. I don't care. I like DuckTales. Like if it's Arthurian, we will cover it. So yes, sign up for that. Patreon.com/MaryVSMovies. All right. We are in the middle of horror month, Halloween month, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know what our next episode is going to be because it's being curated by our web mistress, Alana. She's going to be our guest once again. And I have no idea what we're going to watch. So I'm excited. A little worried.
She said she told me, and I completely forget.
Well, Dennis, you're married to the right person here because I don't remember things either.
Maybe she told both of us, and we both forget.
I wouldn't be surprised. I can't remember anything. So yeah, I have no idea what our next movie is going to be, but it will be something. It'll be, I don't know, vaguely horror related. So until next time.
You're so cool, Kung Fu.